Hello, everyone. My name is Chelsea Lanning, and I'm the project manager for the Central Industrial Neighborhood Traffic Review. In this video, I will be going over some background information on the Neighborhood Traffic Review process, presenting the Draft Traffic Plan, going over the next steps in the process, and discussing the methods for you to send in your feedback on the Draft Traffic Plan. To start things off, I want to get you oriented with the neighborhood. The map on your screen shows the study area, which is bound by Idlewild Drive to the west, 33rd Street to the north, 2nd Avenue to the east, and 25th Street to the south. There are also several landmarks in the area to get you oriented, including the police station, Saskatchewan Polytechnic, and the SGI office. The focus of the Neighborhood Traffic Review is existing traffic concerns on the local and collector streets. Arterial streets, such as 25th Street, Idlewild Drive, and 33rd Street, are outside of the scope of the Neighborhood Traffic Review. In terms of our progress within the Neighborhood Traffic Review process, we have already completed stages 1 and 2, which involved identifying traffic problems within the neighborhood, collecting data, and developing a plan to address those problems. We are now in stage 3 of the schedule, which involves presenting our proposed solutions to the public in the form of a draft traffic plan, collecting feedback on that draft traffic plan, making any necessary changes or adjustments to the plan, preparing a report with the final traffic plan, and presenting the report to the Standing Policy Committee on Transportation. We anticipate that this stage of the schedule will be completed in the summer of 2021. I'll discuss the next steps in the schedule later in the presentation. I'd now like to go over the concerns that we heard for this neighborhood. We heard concerns over the safety of pedestrian crossings at 1st Avenue and 26th Street, 2nd Avenue and King Street, 3rd Avenue and Duke Street, and 3rd Avenue and Dutchess Street. We also heard some concerns regarding lowering the time restriction on street parking from 3 hours to 2 hours on the 700 block of 1st Avenue. Time restriction adjustments require a review of parking supply and demand. This request has been referred to Parking Services for their consideration. After gathering all of these concerns from residents, we began our data collection program. Throughout the data collection process, we performed a number of site visits to gather field observations of pedestrian activity and traffic patterns, conducted pedestrian counts at 4 intersections in the neighborhood, and analyzed collision data for the neighborhood. We used the results of our data collection program to create a draft traffic plan that recommends a number of changes and improvements within the neighborhood. In the next few slides, I will go over each of the recommendations in detail, but in general, we're proposing pedestrian safety improvements such as active pedestrian corridor, pedestrian activated signal, and sidewalks. Our first recommendation is at the intersection of 1st Avenue and 26th Street. We heard about difficulty crossing the street as a pedestrian, especially at night, as well as difficulty seeing the pedestrian crossing signs on the roadway. An active pedestrian corridor is being recommended at this location to aid in pedestrian crossing. An image of this intersection looking north can be seen on the slide. An example of what an active pedestrian corridor looks like can be seen on the right side of the screen. The configuration of this installation will be verified at the time of detailed design due to the complexities of the intersection location and area utilities. The pedestrian crossings along 2nd Avenue/3rd Avenue were reviewed in a holistic way to ensure that the most used crossings were improved. Studies were conducted along 2nd Avenue/3rd Avenue at the intersections with Duke Street, Princess Street, and King Street. After reviewing the data, the following recommendations were made. An active pedestrian corridor is recommended for the intersection of 3rd Avenue and Duke Street. Removal of the existing crosswalk is recommended at 2nd Avenue and Princess Street. and a pedestrian activated signal is recommended for the intersection of 2nd Avenue and King Street. These three recommendations all complement each other and were chosen due to the increased activity and spacing of the crossings at King Street and Duke Street. I'll go over these recommendations in additional detail. Recommendation number 2 is to install an active pedestrian corridor, or APC, at the intersection of 3rd Avenue and Duke Street. There is a view of this intersection looking north at the bottom of the page. An example of what an APC installation looks like can now be seen on the right side of the screen. There is a possibility that the recommended improvement at this location may change once detailed design is undertaken due to utilities and trees in the area. Recommendation number 3 is to remove the zebra crosswalk at the intersection of 2nd Avenue and Princess Street. With the upgrade to the crossings at the adjacent intersections, the zebra crosswalk will be removed. This crossing was the least used of the 3 intersections studied. Recommendation number 4 is to install a pedestrian activated signal, or PAS, at the intersection of 2nd Avenue and King Street. There is a view of this intersection looking north at the bottom of the page. An example of what a PAS installation looks like can now be seen on the right side of the screen. There is a possibility that the recommended improvement at this location may change once detailed design is undertaken due to utilities in the area. A recommendation to install sidewalks and ramps as per the Sidewalk Info program has also been made. The next step in stage 3 of the neighborhood traffic review process will be to collect feedback on these 5 recommendations. The comment period will be open for approximately 1 month until June 25th, 2021. Once that comment period has come to an end, we will finalize the traffic plan and prepare a report to present to the Standing Policy Committee on Transportation. The next stage of the process involves the implementation of the traffic plan, which includes the preparation of plans and installation of the recommendations. Since these recommendations involve permanent pedestrian crossing devices, they will be added to the citywide list for these types of projects and installed as funding allows. Typically, these installations occur within approximately 5 years. The evaluation stage includes the follow-up assessments to determine the effectiveness of temporary traffic calming measures. Since there are no physical traffic calming measures recommended for this neighborhood, this stage does not apply. Please feel free to reach out to me if you think of any additional questions, comments, or concerns. There are a few different methods for submitting comments. You can post directly on the saskatoon.ca/engage page, subscribe for updates at saskatoon.ca/ntr, use the Report a Traffic Issue app, give me a call at 306-975-2483, send me an email at ntr@saskatoon.ca, or a letter at 222 3rd Avenue North, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, S7K0J5. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope to hear from you soon.